Airplanes and coffee. Test, test, test. All right. Stream is not starting in 1 minute. Stream is starting right now. Right now. Hold on there, buddy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Airplanes and Coffee stream. So that's a little bit new, right? So what's going to happen tonight? Let's talk about it a little bit, okay? Short version is Airplanes and Coffee is an awesome organization. We're going to be talking with John Noggle here in a little bit to kind of get a little bit of the history and talk about the future and kind of where it's going. And also find out a little bit more about him. But the story about why this stream exists and why I did this is because I wanted a way to interact a little bit more, but even more than that, every single month Airplanes and Coffee does a fly-in at a different location. So far we've been mainly based out of DFW, which is great because there's a ton of great airports around here, a lot of interaction, and a lot of people very interested in hosting, which is great. I want to start flying between all of them. So tonight in Microsoft Flight Simulator, we're going to be flying from last month's location, which was in Denton, Texas, DTO, and we're going to be flying to our new location for tomorrow's fly-in. So all the information is over here. Tomorrow's flying is in Sulphur Springs, Texas, home of the American Legend Cub. So there's going to be a little bit more information coming up, but if you want a tour of the American, of the Legend Cub factories there, tomorrow we have information for how you need to get hold of us. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Before I get flying though, I need to introduce you guys to Mr. John Noggle. John, you there?
Hey, what's going on, Brian?
Hey, dude, what is going on? So welcome to the show. The show, as if, you know, I've been doing this all along, all 7 months, all 7 shows. We should have been, though. It would have been a blast, man. I would have loved that.
That's right.
No, so thanks for from now. Oh man, so from now on we'll be doing this. So John, you are the founder of Airplanes and Coffee. So you created this thing. I want to hear a little bit more about that. So we've been doing this for 7 months now. This will be our 7th show. Take me back 8. Take me back 8 months, man. What was going through your mind and how all this get started?
Well, man, I'll be honest. Back in August, I found out about cars and coffee, and I was like, ding, light bulb moment. Why is there not an Airplanes and Coffee? So, you know, as soon as I confirmed there was no Airplanes and Coffee, I was like, I'm creating it. That's it.
Airplanes are better. Airplanes are better than cars.
That's right, man. There's no doubt. No doubt.
Yep. Yeah, so how'd you get it started, man? Because you got a real quick following pretty quick. So, and for people watching, like I wasn't there at the beginning. I went to the Rockwall show, which at that time was a handful, and I think that was number 3, right?
That's correct, number 3.
Yeah, so Rockwall was number 3, and the reason why I kind of jumped on there was because it was like across the street, and it's basically where I'm located. So that's where I met John and met these guys, but you guys just have amazing growth, so I've been super impressed with that so far, right?
Yeah, man, I just literally went on Facebook, started the official Airplanes and Coffee group, and started posting random stuff about airplanes and coffee, and a bunch of people just started joining, and literally, I mean, such cool people have been on with us since the beginning. We've got a real great group of people in there for sure, and we steer away from any type of negativity. That's our number one goal, is to just keep it positive, keep it about airplanes and coffee, because you can't go wrong with either of those.
Absolutely. You know, I think the aviation community is like flies to a bright light. You know, we always love talking about everything aviation related. So anytime we find another group that we're like, yes, let's have the discussion. Let's make the jokes. Let's get together and see each other's toys. Because honestly, that's like my favorite part of all these fly-ins. Like when I was a kid, I got into aviation, going to air shows and stuff like that. But it was always military based. And don't get me wrong, those are amazing toys too. But it wasn't until much later on in life that I got involved with general aviation. And so being able to see see all different types of general aviation airplanes up close and personal, like you're at an air show. That's kind of how I keep referring to these fly-ins. It's the GA air show, right?
And I'm right there with you, man. It's like I didn't learn about aviation until I was 27, and not about aviation, general aviation, and the fact that pretty much your average person can do it if you really want to do it. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not a cheap hobby, but if you really want it bad enough and you work for it, you can achieve the goal of becoming a pilot, typically. And it is, without a doubt, the coolest thing I've ever came across, and now it's just absolutely the biggest passion, and I'm addicted.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome that we have this really great growing group going. But talk a little bit about, like, what are your long-term goals for it? Where do you see this moving, and what do we want to do with it outside of the fun? As if that's not enough, but what are your thoughts on that? What's coming?
Oh, I'll tell you, we've got some goals for sure. We have 3 primary goals. We definitely want to spread the word about general aviation. So people like me, for example, who didn't have the opportunity and the exposure to aviation and to fly, we want to give them that opportunity. We want people to come to these fly-ins that have never, been up in a small airplane, and we want to give them that opportunity at no cost. And we want to help people who want to become pilots get that opportunity, whether they have the means to or not. We want to help them the best we can, guide them. Obviously, you got to do it yourself. You got to want it yourself and fight for it. But, we want to support them as much as we can and support each other, because this is literally, we're a great community. We're an intelligent community, a driven community, and frankly, a very brave community. And I don't see why we shouldn't be able to band together and accomplish a lot of great things. So spreading the word about general aviation for sure.
Yeah, and that goes back to what I was saying where, earlier, I didn't understand general aviation as well as I do now until much later in life, because I didn't have those opportunities where I was growing up. So yeah, that's amazing.
Oh, I'm learning so much every day. I'm so behind, man, but it's great, because you know what? I'm happy to have a lot to learn. That's a lot to look forward to, in my opinion.
Yep.
And so secondly, we want to, in different ways, raise funds to help young students who are graduating with scholarship money, those who want to be somehow involved in the aviation industry, whether it be a pilot or perhaps even a A&P, whatever it may be. We would like to raise funds. We can do different types of events such as poker runs. We can do raffles for aerobatic flights.
That's what I'm waiting for.
We depend on search. Yeah, exactly. And then we can, of course, sell merchandise.
Yep. Okay. So, that's a good point too, because, I'm lucky enough where I was able to grab a shirt, but, and we've raffled off a couple shirts, but we don't have a lot of that supply yet. When is that coming? Because I want the mugs and I want the shirts, and that's what I keep hearing over and over again.
Well, I'll be honest, we are very close. We are forming a nonprofit, as you know, and as soon as everything's been submitted to the state of Texas, as soon as we get the go on that and we have that account set up, we will begin selling the merchandise. We do not want to profit off this. This is not the intention of Airplanes and Coffee. That's not why we're doing this. We just want to be able to give back to the aviation community. And even veterans. We even have ambitions to give back to veterans because of what their service. That's the reason we're able to fly. So we've got a lot of goals in mind, and we're definitely close to being able to start achieving those.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that, man. So you kind of talked a little bit about kind of how you got it started and how you got interested, but that's the past, man. We don't care about that anymore. We want to know what's going on now. So tell us a little bit about where are you in your aviation life and aviation career, and tell us a little bit about the Airplanes and Coffee airplane.
Well, I myself am a student pilot. I am right on the verge of taking my check ride, which I couldn't be more excited to get this knocked out finally. It's been a long way coming, but no, I'm excited, man. I'm going to have it done before summer, sun and fun. That's for sure. And then the airplane that I'm actually 1/3 owner on and is actually our flagship airplane, 7223 Tango, the background of the Airplanes and Coffee group page on Facebook. That is literally been one of the most amazing purchases, investments. It just how can you label that? You know, it's a part of me now. It's my life. It's like I look back at her when I'm done flying her, and I'm just so thankful, you know, to have her. And I mean, she's amazing. And I want you guys to know that you could get an airplane like that for, you know, easily less than $50,000. I mean, not a new model, but definitely a good condition Cessna 172. And you could even split that 3 ways. So don't think that, you know, owning an airplane, you have to be some rich guy. I mean, like I said, it's not cheap. I'm not trying to belittle it and make it sound like it's nothing, but I know a lot of people that have spent $50,000 or more on a car like nothing. So
yeah. So a little bit about it, just really briefly on my background. I got my ticket. You know, I started flying like 14 years ago, and I didn't finish, so I didn't get my certificate. Right. I just finished this last September, and I keep kicking myself because about 3 years ago I bought a brand new car. I bought a nice Mustang that I love the car, and it's great. Matter of fact, I've done lots of cars and coffee events. However, getting back into aviation within the last year or two, I'm kicking myself because for less than what my car cost, I could own an airplane right now. So your whole point on it's attainable, yeah, absolutely. It's, you know, and people don't understand that. People think, oh, you own an airplane, and they immediately go to this idea of like, oh, you're making $1 million a year. Like, no, that's not what's required. Is, you know, if you want to own a jet, maybe, but
yeah, it is.
you know, there's so many other options, and I didn't understand that a year ago or 2 years ago. I certainly didn't understand it 3 years ago when I bought my car, which again I still love. But and the other thing with airplanes, they don't depreciate like a vehicle, like a car. You know, right now I've lost money on my car, so you know, airplanes, they hold their value really well. So no, that's awesome that you know, you got into it late, but you're all in on it now, man.
Oh, I'm all in, man. That's it. I'm in, and I'm going to help as many people get in as well, because that's what it's all about, is, you know, finding a passion and then sharing that passion with other people, letting them see the light. And aviation, it's one of those things. Not everybody's going to love it. You know, not everybody can handle flying an aircraft in the air. You know what I mean?
There is high risk, high responsibility, right?
Yes. It's not for everybody, but the people that love it, we love it.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So, well,
not much of an in between.
Well, you know, you talked a little bit about you know, your source and what drives you to help out, but let's flip the script here a little bit. Moving forward, and this is right before I go in and start flying here. How can people help out Airplanes and Coffee? What can people do to spread the word and to really support what we're doing?
Well, that's exactly it right there. Spread the word about our fly-ins and about our group page. And that way soon, when we're able to roll out all of our other future ambitions and our goals, that everybody will be able to tune in and be informed about them. So spread the word about us. Also, you know, if you want to volunteer with us, contact us at info@airplanesandcoffee.com. Let us know how you'd be interested in helping the group, because this is, like I said, this is a nonprofit. We're not trying to draw a salary from this or make money from this. We're just trying to have some fun, and if we can raise some funds along the way, that'd be awesome. Why not? Why not give back? You know, there's a lot of pilots that could use our help, and a lot of veterans that could use our help. And most importantly, not most importantly, but equally as importantly, we need to spread the word about general aviation and let people know just what it's about and how many airports are just being wiped off the map constantly. It's scary to think about, but if it's not talked about, it's not going to get solved.
Man, your last comment there hits close to home, because as a kid, I grew up near Chicago, and anybody in the
I'm
flight,
from Chicago too.
Yeah, well, there you go. So about Meigs Field, and that's the big one. And so even as a kid, the ideas that I had about being a pilot someday, and I'd be able to land on Lake Michigan right there on Meigs, but that was a little bit different situation than some of the other problems that we're having with those. But so get the word out. If you guys want to volunteer, we have these events every month, but there's something going on. We're talking just about every day. There's always something to help out with.
If you have an airport that you think would be good to for us to have a fly-in at, let us know. Send us that information again at info@airplanesandcoffee.com. We want to hear your ideas as well. Anything is welcome. So we are open ears, and we really appreciate all of you guys, all of the members of Airplanes and Coffee, all of your contributions to the page, and your interactions. You guys are just a blast.
Yeah.
We've got a great group. I love all you guys, for real.
Yeah. Well, what better way to kick this thing off than that last sentence, right? So, John, you have anything else before I let you go for the night?
No, man. Have a safe flight, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, John. All right, we'll talk.
All right, bud. Take care.
All right. Well, John Noggle, everybody. So, what's going to happen here? I'm going to fly a plane. I'm going to hand fly this. You know what? Let's switch over here. We are in MS Flight Simulator, the most recent. And we're going to be flying my custom 172. So we got round gauges in this guy. We're going to be flying over here from Denton. We are going to swing by Rockwall. And like I said, Rockwall was our number 3 Airplanes and Coffee location. So might as well fly over and say hi. So if you're familiar with the DFW area, once we hit Rockwall, we're basically following Route 30, almost all the way out here to Sulphur Springs. And I can't wait till we get to Sulphur Springs. So I'm going to set, what do you guys think? Should I go live? Live time? What time is it right now? It's here. It's 5:20, so we'd be getting there kind of dark. So we'll do just a little bit earlier. Flight conditions. By the way, I will be fielding and taking a look at some of the... I did see that there's some comments and questions in there. I will be looking at that shortly. Let's do live... okay. All players, preset. What do we want our weather to be? Few clouds, scattered clouds. A little bit earlier, because I want to actually be able to see stuff when we land. Alright, let's fly this. Alright, so while that loads up, let me see if I can find where the comments are here. So what version of Flight Simulator? Yeah, the most recent MS Flight Simulator 2020. Because we love airplanes, that's right, James. Oh my goodness. So Darren said what time, hoping there's not a update. Yeah, me too. No kidding. I was like opening this guy up for like the last half hour going, please don't update. Because their updates are beefy. Gigs worth. Oh, James wants the Warbirds in here. Absolutely. So there's a couple things with my normal setup on here. Whoa, I got the throttle on. Let's turn that guy down. Normally I have face tracking, but I can't because y'all are looking at my face. Well, now y'all are looking at my face. So normally I have face tracking on. And I believe I turned some of the graphics on here down to medium. I have a beefy computer, but not while we're streaming. All right, you want to see what's so special about the plane? There we go. So this is what I was working on yesterday. I'm pretty darn proud of it. So we got it all logoed up, man. And of course, there on the tail is the @Airplanes Coffee. That's our Twitter and Instagram. So, if you guys are following, do it. Now, I would love to be able to actually get a 172 and paint it like this. This is exactly how I would have it painted. All right. Our controls for the day. I have a Honeycomb Alpha for the throttle. Jesus. For my yoke. And the Logitech throttle. And the way that I set that up is basically one of the levers controls my trim wheel, and look at how quick I can flip this thing, the trim going back and forth. The problem with that is it gets really tricky to set it in one spot. All right, let's go through our checks. Fuel's on. I mean, we already got our engine running, so are we ready? We're on 1.8. That's good to know. Let's go ahead and set our altitude. There's our altimeter. And we already got everything loaded in GPS. Mixture full rich. Trim is set for takeoff. Let's get rid of the parking brake there. Let's set our view, which is essentially setting our seat, right? I am not really this tall in real life. Control check. And we are good to go. All right. On the brakes, throttle's coming up. And off the brakes, heels to the floor. This is going to be the part where I get elbow myself as if there's a CFI here going, more right rudder. More right rudder. Too much right rudder. Airspeed's alive, and there's 50 and 55. And we're up. Let's get that trim set a little bit better. All right. Gonna make a right turn out of here. Especially during takeoff and landings, I'm gonna be just super quiet because focus, right? Alright, so there's 500.
Denton Tower
AGL.
ANC Alpha November Charlie, continue for exit departure.
Alright, here's our turn to the east. It's almost due east, to be honest. So we are going east, so VFR altitude, we're going to be climbing up to 5,500. The only difference between that and real life is I'm actually probably going to fly into a cloud on purpose. Why are you not on? Oh my god, are my avionics off? Well, I just flipped on all of my... There, I had to cycle my avionics for some reason. Well, I guess I can bring up this map. Oh, something to talk about, guys. Up on the top there, you'll see two things that say Sun and Fun. They're not identical, so I'm sorry if the resolution isn't good enough where you can see the difference on there or read them. Let me know. I'll make sure that I get links on there. But if you go to our Airplanes and Coffee page, so not necessarily the group, although I think it's linked there too. We just added 2 events today. One for the Sun and Fun event. We will be there, so John will be there, I will be there, Russ will be there, and I believe Mike will be there as well. So we will be at Sun and Fun. So that's the first event. We want to get everybody together. What's yelling at me here? My gear's still down. But because I'm in a 172, get it? So Sun and Fun, let's have a meet. Let's have a good time. Especially for those people who aren't in DFW, because I know that we've been focused there primarily, but there's a lot of other people that really like airplanes and really like coffee. So let's all get together at Sun and Fun. That'll be fun. For the people who are in the DFW area, though, we are doing what we're calling a fly out, not a fly in, a fly out, because the intention is to meet at a location. Right now, we're planning on Majors Field, and that's in. Yes, I'm leaving your airspace. I actually think I'm already in. I just busted the Bravo. Sorry, but I'm flying. I couldn't pay attention. I'll acknowledge your frequency change. Okay. For those in DFW, we are going to meet at Majors, and that's in Greenville, Texas. So that's east of DFW area, because it's on the way to Florida, so it's in your right direction. We're going to be doing that on Wednesday, April 14th. We're still working out a time and some of the extra details there, but that's what one of those pictures are about. So it has a Facebook link on there to the event. We'll have all the info on the event. Like me personally, right now, I have Southwest tickets. So, but I really don't want to fly Southwest. So if I'm able to find a seat, I'm pretty excited to do that for a couple of reasons. It'll be my first extra long cross country, right? And the second thing is I have never flown in formation. I want to do it. That's one of the, I know that, like, I'm sure there are people who do it all the time and I'm like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal now, but I absolutely love doing that. When I was first going through flight training 14 years ago, I had multiple laps and patterns with C-130s. I was in a little Diamond DA-20, and being able to see a C-130 of all things, granted he was on the other side of the airport from me, but it felt like he was right there. It felt like he could have eaten me. But I love that, and I still have that image stuck in my head of this huge cargo plane flying along with me, basically. So I love formation flying, and I really want to do more of it. So I'm not sure how much formation flying that we might be doing on the way out to Florida. Obviously, it kind of depends on how many people, the level of experience, and things like that. But I'm super excited. So yeah, if you guys are interested, if you're going out to Sun and Fun and you're going to be passing through the DFW area, definitely check out our event link. Get on there, let us know, and we'll coordinate everything. So, all right. All right, let me see if I can check some chat here. So that's 4,500 feet. I got to keep an eye on it because there were a couple times I was, testing with some stuff the other day, and it was I'd look away for just a couple minutes, and it was a mess. I was kind of doing that. I was flying sideways. Let's see here. So, need any local scenery updates? Let you know. You've been building scenery for Flight Sim. So James, I might bug you. I might have to get a hold of you. I do have. Probably about 6 months ago, I think there was a guy on Reddit who did some Dallas area scenery stuff. And so I did get a pack from him, and so it had like the Reunion Tower, a really good version of it. It had downtown. It was really well done. What else? Fair Park. So Fair Park, I'm pretty sure I have those loaded in here right now. Maybe we're not gonna swing by it today. Not today. But yeah, so depending on how much you've done, yeah, I might be really interested. I've dabbled in that a little bit. I've tried to recreate and do a better job. And by the way, we're coming up on 5,500 here, so I'm gonna have to actually pay attention and get this thing leveled out. So I've tried to recreate F-46, which is Rockwall Airport. So that's my home airport. That's where I fly out of. And I've been able to do a pretty good job pulling in the Google imagery data. But my problem is I can't map it to the actual terrain well. So it ends up with it looks good, but it's like 50 feet above the actual property of where like the runway actually is. So I really like Flight Sim 2020. It's my first one I've used in a long time, but I'm pretty pleased with it. Hey, Lois. Awesome. Darren will be back. Awesome. Cool. And I keep floating. See, this is why you don't text and fly. Oh my god. My CFI just told me to lean the mixture. Yeah. If only my CFI taught me that sort of thing. What's up, Colton, man? Glad you can make it. Blowing right past my altitude. Normally, you know, when you're in an airplane and you do that, nobody really pays attention. And I'm not listening to air traffic control either.
Going to 124 decibel.
Ugh, what a mess. And I'm cruising off to the south too. It's supposed to be easy. You just gotta follow the magenta line, right? And then make the numbers, you know, match the numbers you want. So Colton, yeah, we can log it as dual, but I'm not gonna pay you for dual. So, you know, as long as you're cool with it. Also, I busted Bravo, and so you want me to log the dual when I busted Bravo. And I'm flying into clouds. This is not proper. Okay, so by the way, this was the risk of doing this, by the way. If I were just some kid who's like, I'm thinking about learning to get my pilot's license, it'd be one thing. But I already told people I'm a pilot, so now it's just horribly embarrassing where everyone's like, what are you doing, man? One thing I can say is that simulators do not fly like the real thing. I always found the real thing a little bit easier, and maybe that's because I don't have distractions of lights, an extra monitor, chat that I'm trying to monitor, and stuff like that. But I don't know, I always found flying an actual plane a little bit easier. You can feel it in your butt. Let's go ahead and set altimeter. There we go, 2992. Yeah. Alright, that music is going to put me to sleep. I need to figure something else out here. So I'm not owning any of the music here. It's all free license stuff. So if you don't like it, don't blame me completely. You guys might not even be able to hear it, but if you start seeing me dance and sing, that's why. You know, the next thing we're gonna do, set the darn autopilot. Maybe that'll help. But that would be a really boring stream, wouldn't it? Armchair pilots watching your every move. In this case, it's pilots watching your every move. You know, it's sort of like the theory of, and I think Flight Chops and a couple other people have talked about it, so other YouTubers have talked about it. Putting your stuff on YouTube, you got to be very humble, right? And you got to be able to take criticism and look at it as no one's perfect. Yeah, I know that. You got to have thick skin. So you guys all get to be my my DPEs. That's essentially what you are. Although, I think I am going to... It's another thing, I never use autopilot, so let's see here. Let's set that guy to 55. 4, 5. And we're pretty close on course here. We'll just do a little bit of instrument while we set that. Alright, autopilot, nav, we want that. Autopilot, nav. What are you doing to me? Okay, there we go. No, not 57. I want 55. Okay. And the reason why I wanted to do that, I wanted to see this beautiful airplane. So I guess here's a good question. If you're in chat, do you have Flight Simulator 2020? And would you be interested in doing something like this every month for the new events that we have going on? because what I'd like to see is, we can do multiplayer and we can do formation flights. I don't know how many planes it would support, but how much fun would it be if we could do this with 5-10 airplanes, right? And just go from location to location. I think it'll also be very interesting though. So this right here will be about maybe an hour flight total, maybe a little bit more, right? I haven't even checked our ground speed yet. But what happens when we start having events in different states, right? So like if I have to fly to Sun and Fun, I'm not doing it in this 172, I can tell you that much. So. All right, so Colton's joining me. So there's two. Matter of fact, so I've mentioned Colton a couple times. So he was the unlucky one that I went back to last year to get my certificate with. Good dude, great CFI. Really appreciated him helping me out. So he's out in Greenville. But yeah, he got the short straw where I had to fly with him. I don't think I almost killed him though, so I think he was all right. All right, let's see how our instruments are doing here. All right, ground speed 112. All right, a little bit of a tailwind, right? And about 20 miles from Rockwall. All right, so Darren's in. So now we got a couple planes going. Sweet. Does Microsoft Flight Simulator support shared cockpit? They do not yet. But yeah, it's high. I know it's on their list of things that they want to get done. Oh, James just mentioned that. Yep. So that's something that we'd like to do. So going back to Colton, who's in the chat, and he wants shared cockpit because he flies a big bad 310 now all the time. Graduated up from the 150. Hey, we just got another like on Instagram, so that's what I keep poking my head up and doing this for. As a matter of fact, I can show that off now. Well, sort of. It'll be upside down for you though. But that's my newest aviation purchase, Garmin D2 Air. Airplanes and Coffee is not sponsored by Garmin. But Garmin, if you're watching, we love you. The D2 Air is pretty awesome. See, look, I put my head down, now I'm in a cloud. What happened? I just busted VFR minimums.
Regional departure, generic November 87 Mike Tango is at 1.
And a little bit turbulent, pull that back just a hair.
Generic November 87 Mike Tango regional departure. Continue as planned. Altimeter 29
I never told it to change altitude, did I? Hey, there's a bunch of people watching this. How do I set it? Right? That's correct, right? There we go. I just push buttons. Actually, on that note, so something I've been told read recently is that the flight model on Flight Sim 2020 recently, they made some changes where it's not quite as accurate. So there are some model issues. I can tell you that I landed this 172 the other day, and it floated a heck of a lot more than I remember it doing in this sim before, and certainly a little bit more than I've experienced in the 172 I fly. So we'll see. Yeah, Russ, VS down. I figured it out. It took a bit. But getting back to the flight sim thing, I have been very grateful for this thing, especially the last couple of weeks where we had the really bad snowstorm here in Texas. Nobody was flying for at least a week or so. But it was really nice to get on here just to stay familiar. I'm a 100-hour pilot, so I don't have a ton of experience or anything. But so it's nice to just get into it and stay familiar. Nothing will replace the real thing though. So, but when you can't, it's a heck of a lot cheaper to play around with these guys. So. Oh, so they did release a hot fix for the flaps. All right, so that's good to know. All right. Yeah, it definitely seemed a little bit weird, a little wonky. That's the technical term. Man. Ended up being a beautiful day, you know, in game. It was also a beautiful day today. At least this morning, it was really nice. Yesterday was beautiful weather. So like I said, I did go out to Sulphur Springs earlier in the week, so I went out there on Wednesday, actually. Really nice airport. I love the runway there. I love landing right over the water, or at least I will. I was actually taking off over the water. You know, there was a good joke that somebody said, yeah, when you're landing south on that runway, it feels like you're landing on an aircraft carrier. And I said, well, I was actually landed the other way. So as soon as I took off, I did a barrel roll, because that's what you do. So Russ, does Flight Simulator work on Mac? No, sir, it does not. So you can just do what I did and build yourself a whole new computer with really, really expensive parts, and that's all you got to do. You know? Like in the interview with John that we were talking about, you know, if you have an airplane, you're rich and you can just buy anything that you need, right? And if you weren't here for that, that was a joke. That was a joke. Our point was you don't have to be rich to own an airplane. So. All right, let's let me see. So everybody in the chat, who's actually coming out tomorrow? Who are we going to see out there? And what time are you coming, and what airplane are you bringing? Those are the things I want to know. Are you coming? What are you bringing? And what time are you going to get there? So Russ will be there. That's good, because you know, Russ, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you're making the coffee, right? Well, actually, that's a good question too, Russ. Are you bringing? Was it 2-3 Tango? Oh my gosh, should I get the tail number correct on that? Yes, 2-3 Tango. All right. Because I know you. I think you guys have a couple options. I think you said Mike is bringing a Bonanza. Did I hear that correctly? Awesome. Yep. So Russ will start off there at 7, but everybody else, you can. The plan time is 8:30, but some people have to get there to start brewing the coffee. Oh, all right. So we are coming up on Rockwall now. So I know this like the back of my heart, back of my hand. I know it by heart, like the back of my hand. Because we're going to be cruising right over my house. So this is Lake Ray Hubbard. And you know what, we're actually going to deviate a little bit. Just a little bit though. Oh, good lord, that was a close call. You guys see that? I did not have him on any fish finder. And I didn't hear them give me traffic alert either. That was not very polite. Okay, so 2-3 Tango will not be making an appearance tomorrow. That's alright. Cool, so Mike will be bringing his V-tail out. Awesome. Colton gonna bring Seminole out. Sweet. So Colton, are you taking your 150 out to McKinney then? It's been a long time since I've flown that 150. I kind of miss that 150. You got a good little plane. Alright, so if we take a look out our window here, and it popped up right there. So this is Route 66, so we're flying over Rowlett. We're probably right over Wiley right now, coming up to Rowlett. And that is Route 66 Bridge. And if you follow that straight, you end up going right up to Rockwell Airport, F46. So that is where Airplanes and Coffee number 3 was. The bridge over to the south, so up this way, you can see that is Route 30. So 66 on the north side, Route 30 on the south side there. And actually, we should be able to, oh, if it weren't cloudy, I was going to say we should be able to see Dallas here. It's even out this far, you get a good view of Dallas. We're in a simulator. Let's simulate some stuff. No, it's not quite. You can kind of see Dallas way out there. There it is. All right, there's the hero shot with Dallas in the background. But I like flying with just a little bit of clouds, so. Whoa. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to detour down this way a little bit, that little spot down there, just in front of the nose, it's Rowlett, and they are talking about putting in a billion with a B, $1 billion resort there. I think now it's called Sapphire Bay. So they're looking at putting that there, which is going to be a nightmare for everybody who needs to get from the left side of that bridge to the right side of that bridge. So that also includes me. It just means I need to go buy an airplane. That's the solution to all of life's problems, right? White Rock is behind. I don't know if you can see it from here. I think that little shine just over the airplane back there, that's White Rock. Yep. So this game is pretty impressive. I put all the settings right now on medium, because I'm doing the streaming and encoding and stuff. But I can run this thing on ultra and it looks beautiful. I'm running if anybody cares, I'm running a i9 9900K. I was one of those stupid people who bought it the week that it came out. Paid full price. Great processor, but yeah, I paid way more than I should have. And then I'm running an RTX 2080 Ti UC Ultra Gaming. So a whole lot of letters and numbers to say I had a lot of expendable income when I built this computer. Yeah, if only I would have waited the extra year and a half, because I think for what I paid for my 2080 Ti, I could have bought one of the new 3090s, which are just amazing cards. Amazing cards. All right, where are we compared to our flight path? Because we're coming up right over Rockwell now. That's just off to our left. All right, so we're gonna follow 30 here, and then the next good size airport will be Cattle Mills, just off to the north. We're gonna be flying essentially right over Majors, which again, Majors is where we plan to have our fly out meeting spot for Sun and Fun. Majors is a really nice airport, so like I said, that's where I trained and got my license, but I really liked flying out there. And there's Rockwall. So Rockwall in game is a pretty good model, pretty good layout, except it can't convey the hump very well in the runway, and it doesn't really convey the power lines. The power lines are there, but yeah, they're not much of a risk here. I shouldn't laugh because a couple months ago there actually was an accident here at Rockwall, where a guy did hit them, and it didn't end up well. There were a lot of issues with that flight though, but I don't know, maybe someday they'll bury those lines. I've heard that they've been intending, or they've had permission or something along the lines of, you know, they've talked about burying the lines. I hope they do it. Oh, what about the slope in the runway? Well, yeah, there's a bump on the north end of the, probably a quarter of the way down the runway. There is a little bit of a bump there, so you can't actually see end to end. It drops off a little bit on the north end. So it's just one of those things you got to be aware of. There's a way to terraform the runway. We'll have a look. Where's the high point in the runway? I don't remember. I would have to look it up. I believe it's in the AFD. Oh, James, you have a friend who hangars out here. That's awesome. Yeah. I just started renting from a guy out here. He's got a couple hangars out here, and a couple really nice planes. So as a matter of fact, I'll be bringing one of them out there tomorrow. So is DKC modeled down there? Oh, I don't know. I don't know exactly where it's at. I assume it is though. I assume you'll be able to see a track. Either that or it'll look like a little subdivision. So DKC, for those who don't know, is the Dallas Karting Complex. So a really cool go-kart area. Go-kart track. Go-kart area. So Colton, is the DKC, is that that's on the just on the north side of 30, is that correct? Look at me avoiding clouds like a good VFR pilot. Oh god, I want to fly through it though. Oh. Oh, I want to fly through it. Okay, so it's just north of 30, southeast of Caddo. Okay. Alright, so it should be coming up here on the left. You're gonna have to tell me if you recognize it though, because it just might look like a street going in a circle or whatever. Oh, Russ, I will be getting that instrument rating. I want that instrument rating. So my goal is to start the instrument this year sometime. You know, so that's a good question for you guys. I've heard it go both ways. People say, go ahead and jump into your instrument rating. Speaking of, I need to get back up to altitude. I know that I've been low, like, for the last, like, 10 minutes, but I wanted to come down to look at stuff. So I've heard it go both ways of get some hours under you a little bit, get some experience under you a little bit, and then I've also heard, no, just dive straight into instrument. Honestly, right now, for me, if I had the money, I'd be doing it right now. But that's kind of the common theme with a lot of people, right? You know, I can kind of find a way to make the time. So time isn't the thing that I necessarily need. Also, one of the reasons why I started getting kind of involved with airplanes and coffee was to meet other pilots and meet other people, because I didn't really know anybody. Certainly in this area, because I've been in the DFW area for about 6 years now. So I don't know enough people that I call and I'm just like, let's go fly. Let's just go do that. So I like that, and I'm starting to get that a little bit more, which I'm really excited about and super thankful for. But that's the thing, that it's a little bit harder when every flight that I do, 100% of it right now comes out of the pocket, and I have to find the intention and the goals for them. I don't even know if that makes sense, but it makes sense in my head. Oh, the map. So I'm coming up on Cattle Mills. I'm just southwest of it. I think that's it right there, coming up right on the hitting the elevator there. Oh, you're actually looking for me in game. Okay. So part 61 or part 141. Yeah. So that's another thing. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with that. Oh, that's the quarter mile track, right? I don't even know what it's called. I'm asking Colton because he would know. Which cloud? Can you be more specific? All right, so Colton, you said DKC is to the southeast. It's got to be. I mean, so that's the quarter mile track that I know. And you said it's north. Oh, there's a track right there, right? Yep. Cool. And again, I have the modeling of this kind of set low. I really kind of want to shoot it back up to Ultra and take a flight over there and see how much detail they actually get for that track. So, Cattle Mills, that's another airport I've been to. All right, we're getting a little bit off course there. And blowing past altitude again. Come on, DPEs. You're supposed to keep on top of me. Keep me honest. Alright, so the I-30 dragway that we were just passing, it's not a quarter, it's an eighth. Okay. And you can see DKC just to the north. Yep. Okay, cool. So Colton said that now that he was able to see DKC, which he used to work at, now he'll buy the game. That's the thing. That's the one that made you want to buy it. You forget the whole airplane thing. Come on, man. Am I landing 1-8? Yes. I think it's actually 1-9, but yeah, so I'll be landing 1-9 at Sulphur Springs. I kind of actually don't care about what the weather is right now. But I just want to land over the water. So. I bet I can actually pull up the weather there, though. Of course I can. See, I'm in a simulator. I'm close enough, guys. Of course I can do it. Let's just pull up majors. Automated weather.
Kilo Golf Victor Tango automated weather observation 2300 Zulu. Wind 266 at 7.
All right.
Visibility
266 at 7.
sky conditions.
So, I have a tiny bit of a tailwind, but, well, no. It'll be a very slight
Kilo Golf Victor Tango
headwind, not by much.
2300 Zulu.
let's go back. All right, let's practice that instrument now. So, you know, there was some talk there about instrument rating. There actually is a really cool set of whatchamacallit, not classes, but training scenarios and stuff that I actually paid money for it, and it's supposed to be IFR training type stuff. And of course, again, there's no substitute for actual training. But they go through some pretty detailed things. I think I've only gone through like 3 or 4 of them so far. But there's a lot of times where I've actually just kind of done this. I zoomed in on it, keep an eye on this. The problem is if I try and focus too much, then I end up being very quiet. And it ends up being very boring unless I do a barrel roll. Alright, so I wanted to turn left there a little bit, get back on track. Eyes back outside. Lake Tawakoni. And flying right over majors. Oh, and it looks like there is a 310, or at least a 310 T's. So Colton, get on it, man. Chop chop. They did a pretty good job with majors here too. So majors, they have L3 there, and so there's always a lot of gray jets there that come through, which are pretty cool. But it's a pretty big facility for them. I have done many landings there. And then right there at the tip is... Oh, I guess I shouldn't say. Right there at the tip is somebody's hangar. Alright. How far are we? Let's check. Alright, how far are we? 22 miles. Alright, not bad. We are cruising through this, guys. Get it, cruise. Colton says the controller is probably asleep in the tower down there, so feel free to transition at will. Sir, yes, sir. Yeah, that tower, because they have some military jets come in there every once in a while. You know, the tower's closed on the weekends, but I've been there where they open up for 15 minutes, get somebody in, and then they close it back down. So I guess that's a common thing, but again, 100-hour pilot. So yeah, when I was training, so I trained originally, like I said, many years ago in Illinois, and that was at a fairly unbusy, that's a word, Class D airport. It was actually very similar to majors, so that was nice. If you get the opportunity to train at a towered airport, I definitely suggest that. Man, I keep drifting off. Come on, get back over there. Let's see if we can tune into Sulphur Springs. No, I don't want to tune into Regional Approach. Why? Fine, I'll talk to Regional Approach.
Squawk
Oh, that's why.
120. Frequency change approved ANC Alpha November Charlie.
Fort Worth Center. Yay, clouds. Alright. I mean, I guess I'll request flight following. Again, being a good VFR pilot, right?
4 miles southwest of Tango Sierra 11. 172 ANC Alpha November Charlie.
So I rarely ever had to, through my training and stuff, never even had an EGT gauge, so I understand the concept. Rich a peak or lean a peak, though? What do you guys run your stuff? I always just assume it kind of depends on the engine, and it, but why is there such a battle all the time between people?
United 119er, 5 contact SC1 center on 127.6.
Russ, I did all my training in a relatively slow airport called Addison. Slow airport, huh? Yeah. Slow airport. So when I was getting back into flying, I did take a flight with I'll say a school out of Addison. I think I was only like third in line, but I also went like middle of the day. I took a day off work or something like that. But yeah, I know the horror stories are, oh, you're number 8 in line. Okay. The other thing that I didn't like about Addison was you had to get outside the Bravo to do any air work. And so that right there was just money just burning. So I didn't like that. Luckily with me kind of on the outskirts of DFW, it wasn't too bad for me to drive out to majors. So, and at that point it was like you take off and you go just a couple miles away and you can start doing some stuff. So yeah, that wasn't a problem at all. Yeah, the place that I had that flight with, they had sport cruisers. So everybody around here knows who that is. But I love the sport cruiser. It's a really cool light sport airplane, and relatively inexpensive to fly for what you get. I think it only burns like five gallons an hour or so. So yeah, very cool airplanes. I do miss flying low wings. Like I said, most of my time now, from when I was flying before, was in a Diamond DA-20, and I really like stick and I really like low wing. But as long as it has a wing and some way to play around with them, then I am happy to be in the air. So. Alright, so we're 12 miles out. We gotta lose, 4,000 feet? So yeah, we should probably start that descent now. That lake up there, that's where it's at, so. Again, I'm not gonna make the best entry into this, but basically gonna shoot straight crosswind. Yeah, so Russ, the only issue with the DA-20 is the seat gets really hard after an hour or two. Yeah, my longest flight, I did my long cross country in a DA-20, so between a couple stops at least, but it's a few hours. I was also like 20-nothing years old, so I was a small dude, so it didn't bother me that much. But yeah, I could see we're a few hours in it. I wouldn't like it very much. That's another thing. I trained and got my ticket in a 150, and so it's fine if you got 2 people my size. I'm big stomach wise, but not tall. My shoulders aren't that wide either, so. So traffic pattern altitude is 1,500 feet. I believe field elevation is I'm trying to remember now. I think it's 493. Maybe. Gonna have to look it up now.
32.025.
If I'm right, that'd be pretty cool.
ST-1 is at flight level 380, descending 10,000 feet.
I just wanted to fly into a cloud is all.
740
Don't mind me.
ST-1 center on 123.925.
Okay, SLR.
02 ST-1 center, continue as planned.
Traffic, okay, 489 feet, so I was 3 feet off. Alright, so that right over there is the lake we want to go to. Alright. Sorry, I had to look at my phone. That was me talking to my buddy, asking, hey, what time do we have to meet at the airport tomorrow? So I'm starting to get stuff ready at about 7 o'clock. So we'll be wheels up by 7:30. And for me, it's about a half an hour flight. Not too bad.
6 ST-1 center, continue as planned.
Cancel flight following. Airport in sight.
Alpha November Charlie, cancel flight following.
The Alpha November Charlie ST-1 center cancellation received.
Yeah, so Russ did a lot of instruction, he said, in the DAs. So DA 40 liked a lot more than the 20, which makes sense. I mean, the DA 40 is a nice bird, too. I've only sat in it. I've never actually flown it. So,
Entry is at 10,300 feet, descending 10,000 feet. Southwest
I think if I had the amount of money to buy just about any plane for the family for commuting, it'd be it'd be a diamond, I think. I really like the 62. Again, I haven't flown in one, but I think I'd really like it. We need to start descending a little bit more here. The RG50, or do they call it the DA50 RG or something like that, that came out recently? That looks pretty sharp too. Yes, the DA62. That would be my girl. But unfortunately, that's over $1 million. So, anybody want to go halfies? If John were back here, he'd be like, dude, you could buy a L39 for that. Which is also a good opportunity to bring it back to Airplanes and Coffee, because there's actually a couple, I think, L39s that are based near Sulphur Springs here. They've come out to our Airplanes and Coffee events, so amazing airplanes. John got to fly in one out of Corsicana. Everybody was jealous. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have, I don't know, okay, so I'm not sure, but the last couple we've had a couple S211s come out. There's 4,000. I really need to hit the brakes here. So yeah, if anybody's watching, like, hey, you got jets, bring them out. We want to see them. We love them. GA just doesn't mean, single engine or piston. Bring them.
Descend and maintain 10,000. Altimeter 29.902.
Hey, all right. So Russ did confirm we will have at least one L39 there tomorrow.
ST-1
By the way, pretty much as soon as I land this, we might take a look around. I'll probably do a touch and go here. I'm pulling back the throttle hard here.
Air Shuttle Flight 740 ST-1 center, continue as planned.
Anyway, when I land this, I'm probably going to be getting off pretty soon after, though, because I still got to eat dinner. I still got to get ready. I got to pack. Then I got to get up in the morning, so. Alright, I'm going to change the weather on here because it's getting a little slow on my computer, and I'm worried it might have to do with the clouds. Or just the fact that I'm getting closer to the ground. Oh, I set it to live weather. I don't want live weather. I wanted clear skies. There we go. Yeah, so if it's getting choppy on the stream, it's not just the stream, it's my computer crying. Alright, so there's 2500. Start to level it out a little bit. Sulphur Springs Municipal. Let's tune to traffic so I don't have them yell in my ear anymore. Alright. Start going through our checks. Gas. And I accidentally just did that, so it's a good thing we check, right? Set to both. Carb heat would go on, not in this model. For anybody still watching, can you still hear me? Just making sure, because it looked like somebody was questioning if I was still up. Alright, so this is a very wide, yeah, I'm very, very wide here. But again, I kind of try to give it a little bit of room in the sim. Cool. Thank you, Russ. Alright, so we're starting to slow her down just a little bit. There's 80, so we're in flap range. Alright. Carb heat, first notch flaps. Even though we're pretty far out there, we're 80. Probably going to do a little bit longer downwind here, because I want to get over the water. Awesome. Thank you, James. Yeah, so Darren, so I don't have the live weather and everything set up. I didn't turn that on this time, so I'll make sure that next month or next time we do this, we get all that stuff figured out. We're also going to have to, yeah, I was really wide, good lord. I'm also gonna have to get everybody into the same group, so we'll probably all have to be, you know, friends and hooked up that way, which is fine. I'll try and clarify and figure that out next time for next event. No, but I'm glad you guys showed up. I appreciate you guys being here, especially. I mean, you can go now that I'm about to land. You can get out of here now. You don't have to pay attention to my landing. Alright, so this is where I turn off the music. I don't even know if you guys were able to hear that or not, but... Gear, undercarriage, mixture, full. Oh, that's another thing. See, I forgot to hit that mixture. Thank goodness I at least looked at it for the landing checklist. Oh, no. I am going to overshoot final. Maybe. 70, don't get slow, don't get slow. Well, I knew I was overshooting it. I didn't know I was going to overshoot it that bad. But that's okay. Normally, this would be, yeah, I would have gone around probably in this case. Sorry if the microphone's weird. Okay. Okay, that was not a wonderful approach. It also doesn't help that my camera was not lined up properly. Flared a little bit high. You know what? Let's go around. Let's do touch and go. We'll do that again. Mixture, flaps, airspeed's up. There's 50. 60. So one of the things that screwed me up there is my camera I had set off to the left here quite a bit, and that kind of threw me off. All right. Set that trim, get that better. Thank you, DPE Russ. All right, there's about 500 AGL. Still got a lot of fields we could go into. So I think on this next one, I'm gonna try to do it from the external view, which I don't know, honestly, I don't know if I've ever done that in this game before. I'm always landing from this view. Okay, so there's crosswind, and we can start pulling back power a little bit here. Goes over, there's 15. Mixture's still set, flaps are still up. Take a look at our runway. Speed still, and just a tad bit slow, not bad. And there's our downwind. All right, okay. This one at least will be a little bit better approach, I think. There's 15. Come on, get her trimmed out. My trim is so, like, strangely sensitive. I have to tweak with that a little bit. All right, so pull the power just a bit. Keep floating tad, sitting right at 80. It's right about where we want to be. We did kind of float out a little bit. That's okay. Again, I'm okay with that a little bit. Yeah, so we're a little bit further than I'd like to be. All right, power's back. We're in the white arc. We already passed the numbers. Get first notch flaps in there. Pull back power. This is also where carb heat will get pulled. Don't get slow, don't get slow. And make our base turn. Descent, it's about 400, there's 500. Pretty stable there. And all right, I said I was going to do the, whoa, good lord. I don't know if I can, yeah, I'm not going to be able to land it. Maybe when I get on final, I'll go ahead and do that. That's just so weird and unnatural to try and fly a plane from behind it. All right, so descent rate's still pretty stable, still pretty good. All right, start final turn here. Ended up going straight to the numbers on that. Okay, there's 70. So other pilots in the group, and I ended up a little bit low here, but it's still not too bad. Actually, it looks pretty good. This is actually how I talk to myself when I'm actually in the airplane. So this gets back to the using a flight simulator as an actual helper. I really shouldn't have thrown my last notch flaps in there. 'Cause I don't think I would have had it made. Or just barely. Here we go. Here we go. Alright. And starting to flare. Alright, now I'll swap over. That actually makes part of it easier. Now, if you have face tracking, it makes, even though it makes all parts of the sim so much easier, because you can kind of see the triangle, you can poke your head out a little bit easier. Ooh, and that's actually the taxiway I wanted. But you know what? It's a simulator, so we can do things like this. Look at me, I'm a bush plane now. All right, we are gonna go and we're gonna park where airplanes and coffee are gonna be. Let's get those flaps back up. Turn the lights off. All right, here is Sulphur Springs Airport. And hey, all that talk about a DA-20, there's a 40 right there. And so for anybody who watches this before tomorrow, if you need gas, this little pad right here, this little white spot at Sulphur Springs, this is where the fuel pumps are. We'll park right in front of this. All right. So let's see if I can give a brief tour now, just from what I'm aware of. So that building right in the center, that little green building, that looks, I believe that's where the bathrooms are. Not 100% sure. But that's kind of what it looked like from when I was there on Wednesday. There were a couple nice jets, like these hangars over here, center of the screen. They're much bigger in real life than that shows. The American Legend tour, those houses in the back, kind of where that tower, the light is, that is where their hangars and everything are. So those are where the tours are going to be at 9, 10, and 11. All right. So let me show you this amazing paint job again while I wrap this up. Okay. Thank you guys. I appreciate this. I hope this was fun and fairly interesting. I know it's kind of silly just flying a plane, but we will work on trying to find a way to get multiple people in the game at the same time, and then we'll see how horrible formation flight is in a simulator. I've tried it. It's not the easiest thing in the world. But like I was saying earlier, I really want to do formation flight. I've never done it before. You know, so that's one of the things that I want to do. I just don't know how well doing it in-game will translate. But hey, if we crash into each other, it's a sim. That's what it's for, right? But I'm really looking forward to doing stuff like that. Yeah, so what else? Oh, so everything about tomorrow. Again, Sulphur Springs, 8:30 is the planned time. Some of us will be there a little bit earlier. We'll get the coffee brewing, make sure it's ready for everybody. Let us know what you're bringing. So make comments, head over to the Facebook group. Right now, if you go to airplanesandcoffee.com, it'll forward you to our Facebook group. So go ahead and like that, check it out. Twitter, Instagram, that's Airplanes Coffee. You can see it on the back of the airplane there. And what else? If you want a tour of the American Legend facilities while we're there tomorrow, they're going on at 9, 10, and 11. And you need to email us or reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, and just get a hold of us. Our email is info@airplanesandcoffee.com. Let us know your name, your phone number, how many people are coming, and we'll get you on the list. I'm pretty sure we still have some spaces and everything. So before that, let's see here. I'm looking at the chat just to make sure anything else. The only other thing that's in the chat is that Russ said, not bad, great landing. It's the best one I've ever seen in this game tonight. So Russ, thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I just tried a little bit. It wasn't that bad. So, all right. If you guys have any questions or anything else, like I said, reach out to us, or even better, make a comment, because we have 3.9 thousand people in the Airplanes and Coffee group right now. Right now, that's 3.9 thousand. So if you have questions, throw them out there, and absolutely everybody loves being able to help another pilot out, or another aviation enthusiast out, I should say. I want to see that number to be 4,000. So invite your pilot friends if they're not on there. I want to see 4,000 while we're at the fly-in tomorrow. So appreciate it. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. See ya.
Keep calm, what's that supposed to mean? If I had the chance, then I'd crash and burn. Kick back, wait for the dopamine. I do my best, but I never learn. Good God, what was the point in all the trouble? If I had any more doubts, I'd take you down. Good luck, there's never